Namaste, beautiful yogis. It's been a while since I've come on here with an astrology video. Maybe because I was so busy, maybe because I wanted to just marinate things in my head. But it's been a little bit since I've shared a contemplation video. Now today's subject is going to be Imum Coeli, or your most deep personal self. Let's call it that. I choose to call it that. Imum Coeli is, when you look at your chart, is the lowest part of the chart. It is where the sun sets here, and then there is still the sunlight all the way up to that darkest hour of the night before we see the first dim lighting from the sunrise. So it is the deepest, darkest part of your chart. It is the furthest away from the zenith, the lightest moment of the day, and it's the most deepest parts of your subconscious. Dark means deep. Dark doesn't mean as it's associated as a negative thing. No, that's where all your actions come from. That's the deepest part of your psyche. It's considered the underworld by the ancient Greeks, and it is the point from which we enter into this physical realm. So we come through this psychological depth into this dimension. So in many ways it is the essence of who we are. It is the place where we turn inward for self-examination, for self-search, for self-knowledge, for digging deep, for knowing ourselves truly. And it is the point of entry, I personally feel, the point of entry to the soul, where you can connect with the deepest parts of your soul, and the soul is a part of the all. So if you work on that part of you, part of your chart, part of your soul, part of your persona, that will unlock your expansion, your evolution in this life, your growth in this life. It is the midnight of the soul. It also shows the psychology that we inherited from our parents or from our past lives. In some ways, that's the most connected part of your psyche to your soul, but because it's subconscious, sometimes we are not aware of it at all. If we're very self-aware, we have awareness of it, more so than other people, but still there is a lot to uncover in there. When you look at it, it will indicate your DNA, your connection to your past relatives, ancestors. It will also show who you truly are when you are alone. It will show your home, your childhood, and your father. Planets that are near that point is directly opposite from your medium Coeli, descend mid-heaven. Mid-heaven is the highest point of your chart. Imum Coeli, Nadir. I'm not sure how it's pronounced in English, but Nadir, maybe. It's the lowest point. So that point will show your home, your childhood, your alone time. And the highest point is what your deepest aspiration for this physical world are, your goals, dreams, your purpose in this world. So we gotta make a distinction here that deep aspirations is still in this physical world for this particular life, for this particular incarnation. Anyways, so medium Coeli, the highest point of your chart is your career, how you're perceived in the world, the persona you have for the world to see. It is not a fake persona. Nothing about your chart is fake. You just have a lot of layers and aspects of you. What you put into the world is powered by the subconscious that cultivates in your quiet hours, maybe before life, incarnations, in between lives, etc. What is deep within your soul, and because it's so deep within the soul, we have very little connection to it in the physical, because in the physical we have more connection to the things that are a little more surface, and that's why we do yoga and try to go deep, right? Imum Coeli also indicates your physical home, who you are when you close the door and go home, what your needs are. And that's why it's a very important, on a very practical level, it's a very important point, because if you're gonna live with someone, a roommate, or a loved one, or whatever, those are the two options pretty much, in order to know that if you're going to be fulfilled and healthy, so that there is no stresses and the environment is healthy for you, because that's where we cultivate our health at home, when we're resting, when we're being connected to who we are, etc. And fulfillment comes from there if our needs are met. That's why when you're going to be co-living with someone, it is good to see where your Imum Coelis are in comparison to each other and if they're compatible, because if your Imum Coeli is say if your Imum Coeli is in Leo, and Leo needs to be the star and the center of attention at home. As a child, they would be very expressive at home. They would need to be flattered so that they progress further, not criticized. They don't do well with criticism. It will do nothing for them to move forward in their development. But if you want to make them exceed, to stimulate them to continue, you give them full attention and admiration, no criticism, and they will continue forward. They will progress to where if you criticize them, they will shut down, they will suffer, they will struggle, they will have health issues, they will not exceed in school or whatever. So it is very important, even as a parent, to know that, and as an adult to know that about your own inner child or the child you used to be, and also your needs at home. Now, of course, what you are in your deepest, most subconscious, most profound moments, that's what you're going to project in. From there you project into the world. It will not be visible. No one would see where you're coming from. That's the place you barely can see with a lot of work. Other people would not know about it. No one would ever know. That's the hidden part of you. It is nothing. There is no lie or fakeness about this. This is just who you are deep within. The people you live with will know about it. Not the deepest parts of it, but that's your needs. They will see your general needs. So if you're going to coexist with people, you do need to have the same needs. If you need quiet space, alone time, and the other person is a control freak and wants to micromanage everybody in the household, or if you need creative chaos and the other person needs order, that would be a very difficult coexistence. I always bring mine up, but it is the most intimate part of you that no one will ever know. So mine is in Cancer. I project into the world Capricorn, which is a very, very strong sign, and it's a very competent sign, and it's a sign that just moves forward, does not complain. Cancer to me is the pain body, the past, where we understand our pain and our wounds, and that would never be on the surface of my work. That will never be exposed in my work. But at the same time, if you've done my classes, you probably are from my yoga channel, here, you would know that all my yoga is powered from there. This is where all the classes come from. They come from a place of wanting to give, but that giving is fulfilled or is cultivated. It's where I source from is that Cancer part. Another example of coexisting and co-living, a Cancer Imum Coeli would need a lot of alone time, would need a lot of peace, a lot of quiet time, a lot of just capacity to close the door and spend a long time, and a lot of it, in order to recharge, to feel good, to feel healthy, and so forth. Also need a home where there isn't a lot of militant type of feel, a little bit of disorganized bohemian chaos in order to feel creative. So nothing verbal, like it can be minimalist, everything in its own place type of home. It's just that would stress a Cancer Imum Coeli out, because it would feel like you have to be walking on eggshells, I always feel like an elephant in a China store if things are very orderly. Like if your Imum Coeli is in Pisces, so it is, you will see it in your chart, I see, it says I see, bottom of the chart, and you see the sign in it, that's in. If it's in Pisces, you definitely need creative chaos in order to create a lot, and you can be very creative at home. Again, sensitivity of the soul, but not a lot of outer expression. There isn't gonna be as much fire and power as, say, if your Imum Coeli is in Aries, then you would need to be very leader of the family. You would need to be kind of like the general of the army. If you are Imum Coeli in Gemini, you would need friends to come over, and a lot of changes and moving around and so forth. Short moving, short distance moving, to where if you're Aquarius, there is going to be a little more long distance moving, and again you would need stimulation with a group, or with group type of communication and so forth. It's you can just look at it and figure out. If it's in Virgo, then you need a lot of order and simplicity in order for your mind to be empty and to feel good. You need to be organized, and just everything needs to be in its right place, and not too much of things, because that would stress you out. Capricorn, you would work from home, or you would be very kind of dry at home. It would feel very, very dry and not homey. On the Imum Coeli, that is Capricorn. Scorpio, there is deep secrets there, and a lot of maybe wanting to control your environment and people in it, but also not allowing a lot of control over people knowing you very well. Also a lot of intensity, power, kind of psychicness, or digging deep into the psychology of things, the psychology of people in your household, intuiting things, etc. Taurus, that's interesting. Taurus would be a very earthy home. It will have to feel very cozy, very rich, whatever rich means to different people. For some people it does mean very luxurious items, and for others it means items with a lot of very valuable items, with a lot of maybe with a lot of nice quality items, just beautiful stuff, and things have to move slower for a Taurus. You can rush a Taurian home. You can't make things like go, 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 go. Did I miss one of the air signs? Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra I missed, yes. Libra home, again, it will be pretty. There has to be a lot of communication with the partner, a lot of time together, and so forth. You can read. Of course, I'm just kind of glossing over. I wanted just to talk about AC in general and your deepest, most important impulses or the deepest parts of you. The IC will give you tremendous power. It will give you a very tremendous power to fulfill your mission on earth or what you're here for. That's why you need to create a healthy environment at home that fulfills you, because that will power the rest of your chart. Your chart has 4 major axis points, and Imum Coeli is on the bottom, sometimes forgotten because it's unseen. We see the AC, the ascendant, we see that's kind of how you come off in the world and the areas where you would express yourself. It means a lot of other things. Some people think it means how you look, but other people think that how you look comes from the IC, because that is the genetic code. That's your makeup, that's your spiritual and genetic makeup. MC is how you come off in the world as a career person, or as a person in a high spot, like a person in the vision of the masses. DC is how you are with your you part, how you are when you're not focused on the I, how you are in relationships, what you seek from relationships, and how you relate to others, and a lot more. I'm glossing over because obviously I just wanted to bring attention to that part of your chart, because it's so important and so deeply who we are. And although it is not visible to the external world, and it does not, in your career, people would not know about that part of you, it is still deeply who you are, the deepest, darkest hour, or the most subconscious part, the most far away part from the conscious, the most far away part from your expression in the world, and also the most you, if that makes sense. Alright, now you can go on astro.com, check your Imum Coeli and the bottom of your chart and which sign it lays on. For those of you asking how to learn astrology, do you want me to do another video? I think I did one. I'm pretty sure I did one. How to start, and you can actually, a few of you, 12 is enough. You can form a group, a learning group, and just touch base once a week. First you have to learn the signs, 12 signs, then you have to learn the houses, 12 houses, what they represent, then you have to learn the planets, and after that you can start touching up on planets in signs and planets in houses, and after that it's endless. It's just endless, but that's your basis, that's your ABC of astrology, and you can get together on a group call and just say what you know about it, the basics of it, and also there's always so many aspects to a sign. For example, when you look at Aries, you can say, okay, Aries represents the ram, you know, someone fiery, energetic, etc. But then you can look at the layers. It also represents the innocence of a newborn, the first stage of human existence, the first season, spring, the new beginning, and so forth. You can just touch upon all of that in an hour session, say, or 30 minutes, and that's how you can learn. That's how I learned. We had a weekly group, and we just went one by one. through all those things, and after that it just kind of becomes very amazing and endless and intuitive. But also it has its exactness. Astrology is like math, and math to me is one of the most amazing things. It's like music. Math and music are just the most exact expression of the universal sound. They're just the most divine thing we have here on earth, and astrology is that. So it's beautiful. Anyways, I think I touched up on everything. I love you guys. Oh, in the comments below, tell me how you feel about your Imum Coeli, and in regards of how you are at home, and also the deepest parts of you. As I said, I don't carry my pain on my shoulder. You will not know much about my pain. Even my closest people would not know, not because I hide it, but just because it's something that is deep within me that I'm aware of and I just deal with, or work with, transform, and so forth. But it is not, I don't carry it as a badge of honor. I probably power all my career and everything from it, but I work with it on my own, and it becomes it's integrated into obviously into who I am, because it's who I am and I'm aware of it, but at the same time it is not something that just pops up on the surface of who I am. You don't meet me and know immediately what I'm going through. As a matter of fact, none of my friends ever know what I'm going through. I know everybody's stuff. If someone is in pain, I know. I know everything, how they're going through it, their crisis, struggles, etc. So that is part of what it is. So let me know how it kind of expresses itself in your own life. Of course, if you have a planet there, it will change its whole flavor. I do have a planet in my 4th house, and I have a planet in my Imum Coeli in the midheaven, the highest point of the chart. So that will completely flavor the way it feels, your Imum Coeli. So study it a little bit, give it a little read. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. I don't know when I will come back on with an astrology video, but this one felt right to the right now. Namaste.